With the draft coming up, what you got your picks out? What do you see happening?
Yeah, I put out the Sporting News big board of 60 players. It's certainly subject to revision. We've got combine this week. I mean, I had on my list, I had some differences with other people that weren't the, I had Davion Mitchell higher than anyone, just about. I had him number 5 overall, and certainly that was a difference than some people. And I had Sharif Cooper from Auburn. I watched his tape. I saw him play, obviously, during the season. I watched his tape. I mean, he is just a magical player. And they list him as a 6'1" point guard. And if he is 6'1", he's a top 10 pick. Even as a poor shooter, mediocre may be a compliment. There's a lot of poor shooters in this draft. It is a bad shooting draft. There are a couple of really great ones like Corey Kispert, but overall it's a bad shooting draft. And with the league going the way it's going, you would think that that more players would be working harder to excel at that. But so Sharif Cooper's lack of shooting ability is less of a hindrance than it might be otherwise, because if you don't pick him because he can't shoot, you're probably picking some wing that can't shoot. But Sharif Cooper is a magical player. The question I have, and I have been told, and in watching him play on television, I have my suspicion about how big he is. They list him at 6'1". I've been told by someone who covered one of his games that he's probably only 5'11". If he goes to the combine, measures at 5'11", I'll drop him from his current spot, which I believe is number 6 or 7, down into the teens. But if he comes out and he measures out at 6 feet, 6'1", I'm telling you, there just aren't that many guys that can do what he does. He can defense apart.
It's funny you're saying that. We had that conversation. It may have been yesterday. I can't remember, but it was about Leland Walker, a really, really good high school player in Indiana that is getting a lot of attention, but he's 5'10". This kid can shoot the lights out, but he's 5'10". Okay. And
for college, I don't care. If he's 5'10",
right,
he can shoot the lights out. I want, like, if he's a D1 athlete, then absolutely. 5'10" doesn't bother me at all. If you're talking about Muggsy Bogues size, then he has to be Muggsy Bogues. But that's that you can get it done at that level. Even if you're a second guard, you can if you can shoot.
I saw Leland Walker. Yeah, we saw him in the Indiana, the All-Star game, and when he lit up, he had 25. He was fearless.
6 of 8, I think, from behind the three.
And I was telling Jim, I said, Billy Donovan made a living off those small guards. I mean, he had some great ones, and there's something to be said for, so many people put people in the box in terms of size in recruiting without looking at kind of the ability and the heart in the matter.
One thing that's been really good about the way the NBA has gone over the past couple of years is that they all talk about putting players in boxes. Over the previous 30 years or so, if you were point guard sized, you had better be a point guard. And that's not the case anymore. Emmanuel Quickley, I thought, and I still thought like this a year ago, was that in order to be an prized NBA prospect, he had to come back to Kentucky and make himself a point guard. And then the Knicks said, nah, it's okay. He can do it as a shooting guard, and as long as he can shoot, and he certainly can, and he had a great rookie season. So I think we're seeing that now. And so Leland Walker has, shooting ability, and he's not a point guard. And again, I don't know his game. I haven't seen him yet. If he is better off as a shooting guard, you can get away with that now in college as an undersized shooting guard. But again, you have to be able to shoot. The problem with last year's Hoosiers was that they had undersized guards who didn't shoot it that well. That's not a good combination.
No question. I'm looking at your Big Ten players on your draft list. Franz Wagner, 17. Ayo Dosunmu, 24. Luka down at 55. I guess. What are the concerns about Luka that slip him in the second round in your mind?
Luka's problem more than anything is elevation. Somewhat the nimbleness on the perimeter, but it's the elevation problem that around the goal in order to finish. A lot of what he did in college, and he deserved every honor he got. He was the 2-time Sporting News Player of the Year, so this is not to diminish anything that he accomplished. But a lot of what he did was to power through defenders. That's going to be pretty much virtually impossible at the NBA, even as strong as he is. He can do it occasionally, but you can't make it a steady diet. So he has to either has to come up with an unbelievable array of moves. He's got very good moves, but not absolutely disarming. Or he has to find a different way to score. He has perimeter scoring ability. The elevation around the rim is a problem. And then the other problem is, can he move in pick and roll coverage, which is it's non-negotiable. If you can't do that, they can't put you out there. And he has to prove that he can do that. Iowa played a lot of zone. They were never an elite man-to-man defensive team. Luka doesn't look like someone who is going to move well in that. But if he went into an individual workout and they're going to put him through that, they're going to go, all right, guard this, guard this, guard this, guard this. And he's going to, if he says, yes, 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 5 times, 10 times, whatever, then it might change his draft prospects.
What does the Pacers need most?
I think what the Pacers need most at this point, I think they need a point guard. Holiday is fine. I don't think that they necessarily see him as someone who is as a team changer. Other than a superstar, so to speak, which they lost their opportunity to have that when Victor got hurt and then decided to leave. If they could get high in the lottery through some good fortune, there might be a guy like that out there. Cade Cunningham, maybe. Jalen Green, maybe. Jalen Suggs, maybe. I think all those guys have that kind of ability. It would be interesting to me if they got lucky and won the number 1 overall pick. Evan Mobley from Southern Cal is getting a lot of buzz for that, and for good reason. I mean, he's an incredible athlete for his size, and has a lot of basketball skill that's going to translate well. But that the one position where they're stacked, at least for now, is at the center spot. So would they take another center? I think that would be an interesting thing to see if they happen to wind up at 1 overall, what direction they would be most interested in going.
But Cade Cunningham, the point guard, right? Would you think that would be appealing?
I think Cade, what's interesting about Cade is he shoots the ball really well. I talked about that bad shooting draft. He's one that does not have that problem. He's very good at that. And he has the chance to be special as a shooter. The thing is that he doesn't do really well is he doesn't handle the ball really well. He loses it a lot for a point guard. I mean, and I'm talking about it just getting away from him when he tries to make a move. Really, you can't do that at the NBA level. They'll wear that out. So he's got to either improve as a ball handler or he's got to convert to a full-time wing who has playmaking ability. But he certainly would have appeal as the 1st overall pick because he has both of those options to go with. He has elite positional size, even if he's a wing, and he has high-level shooting ability that can become elite.